Jai Swaminarayan. Let's read the 19th passage from the second Gadhadā. This passage is titled, Writing a Letter Having Become Distressed, by hearing Shushka-Vedānta scriptures. Last time we were reading about the Shushka-Vedāntis. Those were the ones who professed that if they are one with Brahman, then they have no more spiritual work to do or practice or devotional practices. Śrīji Mahārāja is of course very adamant that that is not true. That yes, you can understand that you are one in essence with Brahman, but that does not make the end of your journey. In fact, it should really be the start of many aspects of your journey. Let's dive right into it, shall we? At daybreak on Magshar Vadhi the 14th, Samvat 1878, or the 23rd of December, 1821, Swami Śrīji Mahārāja arrived at the residential hall of the Paramhansas in Dada Khachar's Darbar in Gadhadā. There, in a distressed mood, he sat down on a cushion with a cylindrical pillow and refused to talk to or even look at anyone. The white phaeto tied around his head had loosened and become undone, yet he paid no attention to it. In this manner, he sat, extremely distressed for a few minutes. Tears had begun to flow from his eyes. Wow, that's a very unique start to our passage today. Maybe some emotional topics we'll touch on. We'll keep reading. Then, addressing the Paramhansas, Śrīji Mahārāja said, to learn about the beliefs of those possessing Shushka-Vedānta, I listened to their scriptures. Merely hearing them, though, has caused me much grief in my heart. Why? Because by listening to the Shushka-Vedānta scriptures, the upasana, the worship of God, is dispelled from one's mind, and a sense of equivalence arises in one's heart, whereby one begins to worship devas. By listening to the words of those Shushka-Vedāntis, one's mind becomes extremely corrupted. In fact, even though I listen to the scriptures of Shushka-Vedānta with a specific purpose, doing so has brought me much grief. Having said this, Śrīji Mahārāja became very dejected. After remaining disheartened for a long time, he wiped the tears from his eyes with his hands and said, I went to sleep last night after listening to Ramanuja's commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. Then I had a dream in which I went to Golok, where I saw countless attendants of God. Of these, some serve God. They appeared to be still. Others sing devotional songs related to God. In fact, they sing devotional songs composed by Muktanand Swami and Brahmanand Swami. In this process of singing such devotional songs, they sway in the same way as a person who sings and sways in euphoria due to intoxication. Then I also joined those who were singing and began to sing devotional songs. While singing, the following thought arose. One who shuns such loving bhakti, loving devotion of God, and such upasana, worship of God, and claims to possess jnana, knowing wisdom, believing, I myself am God, is extremely wicked. Having said this, Śrīji Mahārāja said, let us write a letter to send to the satsangis in various places so that they never lapse in observing dharma and in offering bhakti to God in any way, and so that their mind is never dislodged from their Ishtadev, personal form of the divine that they prefer, Sri Krishna Narayan in this lineage. Written by Swami Śrīji Mahārāja, all Paramhansas and all Satsangis, male and female, please accept sincerest Narayan from me. I am issuing the following as a command. The avatar of Sri Krishna Narayan, Purushottam Bhagwan, manifests among humans, devas, etc., for the purpose of establishing dharma, uprooting adharma, and giving darshan, viewing presence, to and protecting his ekantik bhaktas, his true devotees who possess the four virtues, i.e. dharma, righteous duty, in the form of brahmacharya, non-lustfulness and restraining the sexual desires, non-violence, causing the least harm, etc., atma realization of their true self, vairagya, dispassion towards material things, and bhakti, loving devotion, coupled with the knowledge of God's glory. I do apologize, there is a cat meowing outside my door. I will attend to them after reading. We're almost done. Therefore, one should have a singular conviction of that avatar, like that of a person who observes the vow of fidelity. Just as Sita ji was convinced of Ramchandra ji's flawlessness, one should also lovingly perform the Mansi Puja, the mental worship of that God, and physically offer to him the 9 types of bhakti. If that avatar of Sri Krishna Narayan is not present on this earth, then one should perform puja of his form mentally and also physically by offering sandalwood paste, tulsi, flowers, and other such auspicious offerings. Moreover, one should offer upasana only to God and not to any deva. If one does, then that is a grave sin, and thereby one's vow of fidelity is lost, and one's bhakti becomes like that of someone who sells their body. So, one should offer bhakti to God in the same manner of Sita and Rukmini. One should meditate only on that God and not on any deva. Nor should one meditate on a sadhu, even if they have attained an elevated state and mastered samadhi. Furthermore, all should strictly abide by the dharma of their Varna and Āśrama. All people who firmly abide by this injunction of mine will develop resolute bhakti towards Sri Krishna Narayan like that of Narad. All people who accept this injunction of mine will develop resolute bhakti towards Sri Krishna Narayan like that of Lakshmi ji and the gopis such as Radhika ji, etc. Conversely, the bhakti, the loving devotion of those who do not accept these words of mine, will become like that of someone who sells their body. Written on Magshar Vadi the 14th, Sambat 1878. After writing this letter, Śrīji Mahārāja had it sent to all satsangis residing in various places. Sometimes powerful experiences can lead to powerful reactions, it seems. I did want to make a note that Swaminarayan did make a point for people to follow their Varna and Āśrama. Varna is the part of life that you are experiencing divided into 4 quarters. The first is dedicated to brahmacharya, being a student. For the first 25 years of life, you study, you learn. For the next 25 years of life, you are a householder, and then you are a renunciate, and then finally, did I get that right? That the third part of life is is a sannyasi, or is it the last part of life? The 4 ashramas. And I think I might have accidentally said Varnas, but Varna is a caste. I'll talk about that in a second. It's the final stage of life. The last 25 years approximately of life dedicated to sannyasi. Before that is the forest dweller stage, where one begins to withdraw from material things and pursue solitude. It typically begins after the birth of grandchildren, for example. Vanaprastha. And the the Varna is the caste, and the idea of a caste system has really changed over the years. And incidentally, the organization from which this version of the Vachanamrut is from, BAPS, they have actually done a lot of things in dismantling the caste system. So it might sound like a bit of a contradiction that the modern organization is dismantling something that their Ishta Deva is saying to occupy. But the truth is, there's really two types of caste systems. There's the idea of what it's supposed to represent, and then there's the unfortunate way it's been corrupted. The unfortunate way it's been corrupted is something that the modern organization is tackling. But Śrīji Mahārāja is referring to the ideal of it as dividing the labor of society into equal and equally regarded parts of life. Originally, the idea is that no one was born into a specific caste, that everyone was born into the labor class. I don't want to say the lowest because, again, originally it wasn't meant to be the lowest. And I don't want to use the original Sanskrit term because that has been used in modern times to repress people. And then throughout life, that we become more of the merchant class, and then the warrior / political class, and then the priestly or holy class, that we all go through an evolution. In modern times, it's very different, that for some reason it's been subjugated to various families, and that if you're born into a family, then that's because of your past lives, and you always have to stay at that class, even if it's a class that's shunned by society. And there's no room for that in modern times. And Śrīji Mahārāja is not telling you this. I hope that makes sense. It's a difficult point to clarify. And with all the sensitivities being understood and the nuances regarded, thank you very much for listening. That was the 152nd passage, discourse from Swaminarayan in the Vachanamrut. Jai Swaminarayan.